Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast.
And we get the back view of him. And I mean, it's just a mega.
52 yards is a long shot. Magnum PI, what we named him. No idea.
Just a magnum.
Yeah, just a magnum.
Come on cam last year, we said probably 150, mid 150.
Yeah.
Same doe from the morning come out with that 9-pointer.
Here steps out this 90-inch 8-pointer. You're like,
I'm like, okay, well, there's still a buck back there grunting.
Yeah.
And then out steps like another 90-inch 8-pointer. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm like, deer, right there.
Yeah, like
and he's already
yards.
30 yards.
Yeah.
He was literally 5 yards from the base of the tree. Could have been, had a buck down at 1:40 in the afternoon, back there deep on public. 3 does come out pretty early. It was like 245, 24-yard shot, sent the combat veteran, and I tell you what, man, dude, it just smoked. We always get so jacked up when the other person kills. It's just almost like we got it done.
Yeah. And when you killed that doe, I was like, hell yeah, man.
And we come down here to Missouri.
I asked Comey one more time. I'm like, is it a good buck? And he goes, yeah, real good, solid buck. I'm like, all right, boom. And the deer just drops. Sure. Super special to me.
Whitetail Legacy Podcast, bringing you back to the hunt and leaving a legacy. Baller Rut.
This is the Whitetail Legacy Podcast coming in your ear holes on this beautiful Wednesday. A lot of people are hunting. They might be on their way to the stand right now. Good luck to you guys. Here in Illinois, we're still waiting patiently.
Still on the sidelines.
Waiting. We are about, 15 days out right now? 16 days?
Yeah.
Man, so it's getting real close. Trail cams we're really watching them now. Our mobiles, we're like every day I wake up scrolling, trying to figure out what's going on. But we're going to come at you with just me and homie today, and we're going to talk about how we are going to have the best season we've ever had, or how we plan on. And I think there's a lot of, I don't know if they'd say tips, but just what we do that would help you guys out to make you have the best season that you've ever had. There's a lot of stuff in here that I think a lot of people overlook. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I do.
We're getting to the people that make this possible. We'll get in the show. We'll start out with a VIP. Do you have the VIP shout-out?
Yeah, this week's shout-out is going to be Ed or Eddie, Eddie Hart. He was in the Army for 6 years and did 2 tours overseas. Said he's glad to be back home with his family, who he loves very much. Says fishing is more on the forefront of his plate now that he's home. More than hunting due to some maneuverability issues, but he said the shout-out is greatly appreciated. So, Ed, we appreciate your service and going over there. I know we talked a little bit, and your maneuverability is getting a little better, so maybe here in the next little bit you can get out there and get back to hunting.
Nice. Yeah, we appreciate that, Eddie. I was shooting the combats the other night about an inch away from the field tips all the way out, so I was really digging that. Confidence was huge after doing that. You ain't got to worry about anything. I figured I'd screw them on one more time, make sure nothing's messed up, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, I'm good to go. So ECW, all your custom call needs, embrywoodworking.com, embrycustomwoodworking.com. He just came out with his 4-tone grunt on the outside now with the slider. Kind of like the extinguisher call.
Right.
Pretty nice. If you guys want to check those out, you can check them right out there on the website. Exodus Trail Camp Tip of the Week. We finally bought a battery tester. This is a $6 investment. That's a game changer, guys. We were out in the woods, going to move a bunch of cams. Went up to a Lift 2 on video mode, running those Energizer Industrials.
Yep.
And it was dead after about a month or so.
Yeah.
3 weeks. And so we're running lithiums in all our video mode cameras now. But so we were going to make a bunch of moves. So I was like, hey, I'll go back to this cam. I'll pull the batteries on it, and then we'll get them in this cam, and it'll work. You know what I mean? Because it was one of our better cams, so we wanted to have priority of it. And then I said, I'll just come out. This is right on the edge, and I'll pop this one back up. Well, my dumb ass has the old batteries and the new batteries, and I put them in the same pocket. So now we got 16 batteries. We don't know which ones are good and which ones are bad. And we're trying to put 8 in the camera and see if it'll turn on. We never did get the right formula, but we just bought a battery tester now, and we ain't got to worry about it.
Yep.
So, and we have one camera that keeps the batteries keep dying in. So I'm anxious to see if I go out there and the camera's not working again, and I test all those batteries, if it's the camera, or do I just keep throwing away good batteries?
I mean, the camera could be shorting out the batteries, you know what I mean? So it could be draining them as well.
Yeah, so there's something going on. I've already went through 2 sets of batteries in that thing, and it's
but at least with the battery, at least with the battery tester, you can test the batteries not under load to make sure that everything inside the battery is fine, and then you've eliminated it down to just the camera.
And then we bought those 100 packs. And sometimes you get a bad battery in those 100 packs. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I got a bad, bad battery," and then it's kind of hard to pick one bad battery out. You put 8 in, you're like, "Oh, okay, these aren't good." And you get 8 more. You know what I mean? You just trash those, and you wasted $1 a battery. You know what I mean? Those lithiums aren't no joke. So, all right, Last Breath TV. You guys, Last Breath TV, they just released season on YouTube. A lot of awesome content on there. But antelope, some giant whitetails.
Yes.
Absolute mega whitetails. And they killed them early season, late season, the rut. All throughout the year. So a lot of good intel on there. And they're still releasing that Moultrie series. Scrapes and trail cams, man.
Yep.
They're keying in on those. So where can they check them out at?
They can check them out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, as mentioned, YouTube.
All right, Next Level. You got Next Level?
Yeah, so Next Level, as of September 1st, has switched to their fall and winter feed pellets. This is less protein than spring and summer formula, but it's still the ideal amount for the adult deer. It's increased in fiber content over the spring and summer formula, so same great benefits as the spring and summer mix, including the 5 sources of protein, vasodilators, prebiotics, and probiotics, and the Yucca Shidra.
A lot of stuff going on.
I know, there's a lot of stuff going on. That's why it's Next Level.
Yeah.
That's why it's Next Level.
That's why homie has to read that ad.
So you guys can check them out at nextleveldeer.com and get your order in, man.
All right, the last one for Buck Book. Like I said, this company reached out, wanted to help the legacy out. So if you guys haven't heard, they created a platform to age deer, share trail cam pictures, and it's a safe platform where you're not going to do it on social media and get hosed. One thing they're really pushing with this website is they want to create a community on there, maybe where like a hunting group, like I was thinking about Thor, like he's in a big hunt group, you know what I mean, down there in Georgia. And, everybody's trying to be successful, and even if you posted a buck on there and said, hey, I'm hunting in this area, blah, 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 and I'm feeding this, and this, and then there's another hunt club down the road, and they're feeding this, and this, and they're showing more trail camera pictures. You're thinking, well, maybe I should switch over and try this out, Or if, like for us, it'd be cool if our neighbor had all clover plots, and we didn't know, and then we put a clover plot in, and we're like, why are nothing's hitting our clover? It's because they got 5 clover plots with 3 different properties, you know what I mean? And then we could throw in oats or something to give them some variety. So that's another awesome thing, and you can check that out at buckbook.com. Age your deer, share pictures, get jacked up for season, get on there. We're going to share some deer, try to throw some curveballs at these guys and see if they can age these deer, and it'd be fun. Got Ingram's Outdoor Accession, all your taxidermy needs right there in Oneida, Illinois for all local guys. That's it. Let's get into the show.
Let's get it.
I got homie on the phone.
What's up? Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to break down how we are going to have the best season we've ever had, and that's a high calling for us. We've had some awesome seasons, you know what I mean? And we've been very lucky to have the success that we've had. I think it's luck. A lot of people wouldn't say it's luck, but we've been lucky.
Some of it is, yeah.
Yeah, we put in a lot of work, but we've been lucky, and I hope there's something in this that you guys can pick up. We want all of our listeners to have the best season that they've ever had before, and we get a lot of messages about how we said this and now some guy's going to try it, and in my mind I'm like, man, I hope it works for you. Sometimes it works for us, you know what I mean? So don't take any of this to heart. We're just saying this is what we're going to do, and what we've done in the past to make our season successful. And we're going to start off with what you can do right now if you're not in season or you're getting right at the beginning. Shoot your bow. It seems simple. The guys I work with, they're like, yeah, about time to get it out. I'm like, we're 15 days out, man. If you got a broadhead, if you got to, move your rest for broadhead tuning or anything, and you're at 15 days, you got to get moving.
That is not enough time to get confidence.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I've been shooting every other night, and it's been working out good. My oldest son, he shoots with me now, so it motivates me to shoot a little more because he's like, okay, it's the second night, let's shoot our bows.
Yeah.
And I've been shooting really good, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be great out there, you know what I mean? So we just got our new camo in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit bigger than what I'm used to. I need to shoot in that, figure out a system of how I'm going to do it. It's super nice. It is a little thicker, I know, for late season, but never shot anything that thick. I haven't shot in bibs for a long time. So I need to see those bib straps might throw a kink in my shooting, and that's something I need to figure out now instead of thinking, oh, it's cold. It's October 12th. We get a giant cold front like last year. We got a giant cold front in October, and I'm going to wear the late season stuff. Now you got bibs on, and you miss your chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the final connector, you can pick the right tree, be in the right area. You ran the trail camera, you got the data, and you didn't make the shot. Let's start over. You got that chance and you don't make the shot, or you shoot and don't find the animal. There's no worse feeling than a bow hunter. I'd rather have 98 encounters with one buck instead of shoot and miss or shoot and wound. You know what I mean? Like it ruins your mentality of the season. You start double guessing everything. My gear, was it me? Was it my sight? Was it my release? You're not in the flow. You start overthinking everything at that point.
Yeah. And
I've done it on a giant and didn't hunt for 2.5 weeks. Wasted 2.5 weeks of my season. You've done it and you're just demoralized and you're like, man, it's all on me. I mean, I'm a dumb shit out there.
Yeah.
That's how you feel, but it all goes back to that fifth shot out in your yard at 45, quarter two, and you're just out there messing around. But then when you're out there, you're like, oh, I got a quarter two shot at 45. I can do this. You know what I mean? Because I've done it before. It seems simple. Shoot your bow. Make it fun. Number 2, you want to cover this one?
Find a pack. We're being mobile on public land, and it makes a great difference if you have a good pack. Like, if you're going in deep, you're not going to want to pull up halfway if you're dead set on going to a tree in the back. You just don't want to pull up halfway. So, because if you're not where you want to be, you're not going to be in it mentally. You're like, oh, I pussed out. You always want to go and be able to make it to where you're going. So being comfortable and being able to get to where you need to go, and a pack or, the lock and walk like we have, like, that's the way to go. Spend the money and find one that is comfortable and fits everything that you need to take, or, it's going to hold your bow, whatever you need to do. But spending the money and finding a good pack is pretty important. That's been in the last 3 to 4 years that I've really invested money in, like, nice packs.
Yeah, it's something that's overlooked, I think, and it's something that you're going to use every time you go hunting. And not only you find your pack, you got to find a system. If you're going to be filming, not filming, you have to figure out how you're going to organize that stuff. Make sure you don't lose anything. And then what I do is I pack everything I'm going to take the night before. So it's not 4:30 in the morning, you're waking up, you're trying to figure out, where's my rangefinder? Where's my binos? Everything's in its spot, and if it's not in its spot, I've lost it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So it's either it's in that pack. If I didn't pack it the night before, I'm not double checking anything in the morning. I'm grabbing that stuff and I'm going. I'm taking my time in the night to get that situated, and I changed my stand setup a little bit. So I went through everything and figured out a plan of how I'm going to do it, how I'm going to pack everything. Even if you're not packing in, you're just going to your stand, just having a system of how you get yourself from the truck to the tree stand. Unlike us a couple years ago, you got a tote that's everything's thrown into.
Yeah.
And it's 28 minutes at the truck, and you're like, in your mind, you're like, I'll be in the tree in 15 minutes. Now you're already 30 minutes behind what you wanted to do. So,
but just going off what you were saying there is like the first night or the first day of hunting or, like of rutcation or whatever, or of season or, the weekend, like I'll be kind of shaky on that. Like because I just like, I know I got everything, but just like until you get out there and you go through, you use it, but like second night or, the afternoon hunt, like then it's just wham, bam, you're done, you're good.
yeah.
So,
and then if you have a system and you're dedicated to it, you don't even have to think about it. You come back, you get out of the truck,
yeah,
you put everything back where it's supposed to go. You're ready for the next day. Because I don't know how many times I've been at work and you're thinking that you're gonna have to work till 6, and then you get off at 2. You're like, oh, here I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm going. You know what I mean? And then you have nothing ready.
That's usually when I lose shit.
Yeah.
Is on a situation like that because I'm balls to the wall. I'm 100 mile an hour. I'm like, it's a free opportunity I didn't even think was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Here I go.
You're jacked
and then
up.
now I'm 90 miles an hour the whole hunt.
Uh-huh.
And then that's when I lose shit.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to be conscious about it and slow down. And be like, all right, you're good. So that's something that like I've been thinking of for you guys listening. Like just slow down and think. Just think.
Yeah. That's it's hard when
when
you're
you're
getting
geared
off
up,
work
man.
early and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out there, and then you're like, oh yeah, I got the right wind. I'm gonna go to. You start thinking about what you're gonna do, and you leave half your brain because half of it's filled with whitetail, and then you forget something simple, like I don't know how, I forgot the base to the fluid head
Oh, yeah,
on your
yeah.
camera twice. I'm like, well, I got no camera. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
something simple, but it's something really small. You know what I mean? Or a guy forgets his release. I've done that multiple times. You're like, I'm not shooting fingers out here.
Yeah, I'll forget that tray to the fluid head.
Yeah.
Like you'll be dead set on just you're filming, you're on the camera arm, you're on the fluid head, and then you change it up and you do pics and you use a tripod,
Yeah.
or something, and then you're just like, boom, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's like, oh, changed up your routine.
All right, well, this kind of goes with a pack, but it's a different word, and we're going to say group here. You need to find a group of guys that you can talk to. That seems simple. Having a group of guys that you can talk to, you can show trail cam pics. There's got to be guys you could trust. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And just ask questions. If you get 4 or 5 guys that are all hunters, and you say, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think?" It might be the dumbest idea ever. Not saying it might not work, but one of the guys said, well, do that, but switch it up to this. Or it's nice to have guys to celebrate with. When you see other people be successful, it motivates you to be successful. There's a lot of benefits to having a pack or a group of guys that you text, call, whatever you got going on. And if there's a lot of guys out there that are like self-filmers, are like, I like to go solo, which I respect that, but I would hate being solo all year. Just no one else out there hunting, not even hunting the same tree with me, just hunting in general. That like I could talk to, be like, hey, I seen this buck. I want to make a move on him. What do you think? You know what I mean? I couldn't do it.
Just go back and forth, and like I noticed here the last 2 weeks, like shit's getting close. So I mean, we are really picking up the tactic talk, whether it's through text or phone call, and that we were talking the other day, and I was just like, holy shit, like we're back into like I feel like the way that we've been talking here these last 2 weeks about these 2 bucks is almost freeze-esque. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
We're in it,
Yeah,
trying to figure it out.
It's close, and it's fun, man. Like it's fun to talk to somebody like that. There's nobody at work or I'm not gonna talk to the wife about it, but like you gotta have that dude or just like you said, 4 to 5 guys, and I mean we got dudes that are close, and then we got dudes that are super close, and then we have dudes that we could like, hey, I'm just spitballing here, just like you said, it might be dumb as shit, but what do you think? Like, or I seen your hunt that you did this last year, kind of, can you elaborate? Because you can't see everything on a video. Can you elaborate on like how you did that?
Yeah.
A lot of these guys that you can watch their hunts, like they'll be more than happy to tell you, to help you out.
Kind of dive in and help you out a little bit. So
like, yeah, I'm 3 states away. You're good.
Yeah. Next one, number 3. Well, I guess that's number 4. We kind of threw pack and group. It's the same word, like
Right.
wolf pack, you know what I mean? And then group, so I just put them together. But prepare yourself and your family. But I've been doing this for months.
Yeah.
I had remodels at my mother-in-law's, remodels at my house. I'm already talking to the wife about this is the last day I'm mowing my yard, and if it gets tall after that, someone else is going to have to mow it on the weekend. I'll pay someone.
Yeah.
I mow my mother-in-law's yard too, so I'm like, if it gets past this date and it has to mow again, and it involves this, I'm paying some kid $20 to mow that some gun. You know what I mean? Like, you got to mentally prepare yourself, get everything lined out. I completely remodeled the inside of my house. And then I put a floor into my mother-in-law's, and I kept telling my wife, I said, we got to find a weekend so I can get this done, because I told him I would do it, you know what I mean? So you got to go through, but you got to find a weekend to get it done before your season starts, or for us, some of those low-priority October hot days, be like, okay, this weekend's going to be 85. I'm going to do that floor in the morning, and then I'll hunt the evening, you know what I mean? Or something like that. And then I've been talking to my wife about, like, well, when the season's here, I'm not doing anything. So I've been staging her up all year. You know what I mean? Like, it's coming. Like, and she knows. Like, for 15 days, she knows that I will do nothing but hunt. I'll be around and I'll help out, but she knows that I'm not going to be going grocery shopping. I'm not going to be doing any of that stuff. But when you put the work in all year, they'll give you that 15 days. You just got to remind them that it's coming. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you got to mark it on a calendar or what. I send subtle signs all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I always say, I won't be doing this in a couple months. You know what I mean? That's like my go-to. Just so she's like, oh, yeah, that's coming up, you know? And she knows that our wives know that we're crazy about this stuff, and this is what we do. But we also gave up everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these 15 days that we're going to be taking off and hunt, that's not including the weekends that we hunt in October. In October, we're weekend warriors. We have to be. And if we don't have to work the weekend, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
And prepare your family. My kids know that it's go time. I've told them multiple times, deer season's coming up, and I'm preparing for the hunts that I want to take my kid on. You know what I mean? Like, we're already talking about it. I'm like, hey, dove hunting, I take him every time. Like, every time he goes. We go pull cams. If we're not going on public, 100% of the time he goes to the private pretty much. So I have to tell him, be like, hey, you can't come on this one. You can't, we're not going to be hunting, and then you'll be able to go this with this one. It gives them something to look forward to, and then it holds me accountable to say, hey, I got to make this happen because I told this little shit that I'm going to get him out there. You know what I mean? So if you have kids that want to go hunting, tell them, say, hey, third week of October or whatever, we'll try to get you out. We'll try to get you out for an evening hunt or something. And then that gives them something to look forward to. And when you're walking out the door and your kid's like, oh, I want to go, you'll be like, hey, remember 2 weeks? I got you. And then it gives them something to look forward to and help hold you accountable to make sure it happens. You got anything else on?
Yeah, well, actually, on Sunday, we went to the apple orchard, and kind of like one of our last big family weekend events, and we were on the way there, and my wife's like, so how many days a week are you planning on hunting? I'm like, well, obviously we got the weekend warrior deal. That's already established. I mean, that's no question. And I was like, well, it's probably going to be like a day or 2 days a week, like during the evening. If work stays the way it is, like I was thinking about maybe trying to slip to 410s, maybe sacrifice a day of the evening hunt, because it's probably not going to happen. Just work until 5, especially later October. But then you have all day Friday or Monday, whichever, So I was just like, yeah, probably 2. But I said, it's just going to kind of depend on what the weather is. Like if we have shit wind, you have shit wind. But I was like straight, flat out, just like you said, man, just being straight up like, hey, it's go time.
Yeah, you say, this is what I want to do, and then if something comes up, we got a wedding or something, let me know in advance, and I'll prepare for that, you know what I mean? And that's also collateral, too. Be like, hey, I'm already taking this day for this wedding in 2 weeks. I ain't taking a day right now.
Right.
Next one on the list, collect and break down the data. Homie's been doing this a lot. I seen you getting real scientific this weekend.
Oh, man, I was trying to find anything.
Nothing. That property just does not line up for anything.
Yeah, and we've said on here before, like, we just have a hard time finding bucks on a pattern, and that's obviously due the summer's pretty solid. But this time right now, like we only have we don't have 2/3 of our cams pulled, but just off the mobiles, like I mean, we got a couple bucks to chase right now. Everything else is just kind of dead and does. But yeah, these 2 bucks that we're keying in on, or that are at least showing up for us, so we're trying to find, or I was trying to find, if they liked a certain wind to be on this area, or why they were coming from this way. Was the wind at their back? Was it in their face? Where were they bedded that day, and which way are they probably laying? Because one day, like, if he was bedded over there on that cliff, like, the wind was going right over him. So he has, like, that's out of the equation, so he's just going off eyesight. So that probably wasn't over there.
Yeah.
He's probably at that second bed down at the creek to where he had a little more on his nose. So was just looking at wind speeds, directions, comparing it to trail cameras, which way he was going, at what time, maybe what he was doing. I just know he kind of likes southeast wind to be in that area and to be on the cam. Also, we have 2 cams at this particular location that are 40 yards apart.
Maybe 50.
50?
Yeah.
50 yards apart. They're on one cam, not on the other cam. Like, dead giveaway, you know?
Dead giveaway that he didn't go that way.
Yeah, so, and then when they are, the very few times that he's on both cams, like, okay, I definitely
Yeah, you
see
got
what
a
he's doing.
direction of travel.
Yeah.
And we just put another cam like 100 yards from the other cam,
Yeah.
because we're trying to key in on these 2 bucks because that's literally all we got going right now.
Yeah, and, I mean, it was something as simple as this that we started keying in on freeze a lot more on, and be like, okay, it's a southwest wind, and then here it is, 6:30 in the morning, boom, freezes on cam. Okay, it's the southwest wind today, So you never know what you can find if you just put in that little extra bit of work and just do your due diligence on that front at least, and be like, okay, I didn't see anything here. It's just gonna have to be go in there, be there when he's there.
So how we pull cams is we pull them periodically. We have ones that we don't pull at all until right before season.
Yeah.
So I feel I hear a lot of people talk about how trail cams aren't useful. Summer trail cams aren't useful. And I can agree on summer trail cams a little bit, but there is nothing more valuable than you getting a buck close to daylight early season, or a buck. So we're going to pull them like the 27th, right? Or 26th.
Yeah,
and
that
season,
last weekend.
So we're pulling them all. And then season's October 1st.
On Thursday.
If we had a buck that was doing something, crazy, we could be the first guys in there to hunt him. And if you are hunting, if you are a rut hunter only, and I could see you not running trail cameras. You just hunt those traditionally good rut areas, but I do not see the guys that aren't running trail cameras killing early. The guys that are consistently killing in early season are running a lot of trail cameras, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it's because you have that data. You've seen a buck glassing from a bean field. Great. You've seen him one time, now it's 3 weeks before season. Is he even there? Are you hunting a deer that's not? If we went out on Boonertown and today was season, we had no cameras, and you walked out there, the property looks awesome. You know what I mean? It absolutely looks awesome. You got a 3/4 acre bean field, a 1/4 acre, maybe a little over 1/4 acre oats, late season, real world mix up there. It's going. You got options on a bunch of different winds. You'd be like, oh yeah, this is perfect. We got all this food. And you ran no trail cameras. You'd go in there and you would not see a deer.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't see a deer, but it looks awesome. There's sign from previous years. There's buck sign from previous years. You'd walk in there and say, oh yeah, there's food plot here. There's an awesome blind right here. I can sneak in through these cedars. I'll be set up. Great. This looks perfect. But you don't have trail camera data. You're hunting nothing. Definitely no bucks.
Definitely.
There's a 6-pointer out there, and that's about all you got right now. You know what I mean?
2 forked horns.
So going off all that is great. If you can go and find fresh sign, that's awesome. But if you're on a property that is smaller like ours and there's no fresh sign and that's what you have to hunt, you could run trail cameras, pull them, say, okay, there's no fresh sign. I'm getting no buck pictures. I'm going to go some random public and try it instead of putting pressure on this property when I don't need to.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of guys out there that don't run trail cameras and they just hunt the property over and over and over expecting change. But there's literally no buck there. Well, I seen a buck last year in October 30th. Well, it's October 3rd right now. He's probably not here. You know what I mean? So that's something we do. We value trail cam data right now really high.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we got. This is the marbles going into the show.
And we just spent like 4 or 5 hours scouting. When was that? Last Friday. And we got a lot of intel, a lot of fresh sign. We feel like we're right where we need to be, but we could do that because it was on public and there's no fence to stop us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We weren't close to the property line. Unlike Boonertown, that's 40 acres. It's really easy to get to the neighbor's fence and say, well, this is what I got. You know what I mean? And if we had just Boonertown, I'd be real scared about getting into the season because there's literally nothing there. So collect the data, however you want to do it. If you don't have cams out, collecting data could be scouting, just like we did. We collected a bunch of data. We had trail cam pictures that told us this deer was in the area, and then we went in there, and there's fresh scrapes, fresh rubs. He's rubbed the velvet off, found a bedding area. Okay, we're putting the pieces together. That's collecting the data one way. Or collecting the data is go and get all your trail cameras and collect the data that way. Then do what you did, break down the wind direction. He's accessing this way, he's going in, he's coming out this time, and try to make a plan. Most of the time when we do that, nothing adds up early.
Yeah.
We have success. You killed early October last year. I've killed early October a couple times. But we have most of our success in the rut, man. We're rut hunters. We know where we need to be consistently over years. And we're trying to learn this early season where you can go in there and just take one out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not that we don't put the work in. We put the work in. We're running the cams. This year would be cool to see if running all these cams makes a difference for us early or if it's just more deer pictures. You know what I mean? This would be like the deciding factor of, okay, this really helped us get on some deer, or because last year we did not see a mature buck until you shot your buck.
Mm-hmm.
When was that?
25th.
The 25th of October, yeah. We did not see a mature deer from the tree stand from October 1 to the 25th. And you can say what we had, maybe 6, 7, 8 hunts by then.
Well, let's see. So it'd have been the third weekend. So you already know we got we got a Friday night hunt, 2 on Saturday, and we'll just say 1 on Sunday because there was some time.
Yeah.
A couple weekends we just did the evening on Sunday. So 4 hunts a weekend. So you're looking at 12.
Yeah, so 12 hunts and you got no mature bucks.
Yeah, I took off,
sighting.
or we had a meeting one day, so I got out an extra morning before that, and then I took off for a DOT on the 21st for my hunt to bank off the previous 2 years of trail camera data of a shooter being there in daylight. And so that was, that's 2 extra hunts. So we're up to 14 now.
Yeah, and you don't see a mature deer at all.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even, not even 100, 200 yards away. You know what I mean? So that's why we were like, okay, we have a huge hole of all these hunts where we're seeing does and small bucks, but we're not seeing big deer. And it could be because they're nocturnal, but in my mind, them deer are moving somewhere in the daylight. You just got to find out where they're moving. And we're already light years ahead of where we were last year at this time. If stuff doesn't change, we have 2 bucks that we could potentially kill early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Last year we had zip, and it's all from running more trail cams. So collect the data, break it down if you can. If you don't have a bunch of trail cameras, scout some stuff, figure out what you got going on. Once you do that, set some goals. We haven't set goals this year.
Not yet.
Really. No. That's something that we need to do. You need to tell yourself some goals that you need to do so when the moment comes and there's a deer coming in, you're not deciding what to do. I mean, there's some deer that you might want to get a look at and see how you feel, and then there's some deer where I see this deer, homie's the camera guy, I need to let him know if I see this deer, I'm shooting him. You know what I mean? Because we're pretty much on the same playing field, but sometimes homie might get jacked up and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna kill this deer." I'm cool with that, but I need to know that if this deer comes in, we're in kill mode. We're not in, I'm going to film a couple shots of him. I need to film the whole thing. You know what I mean? And it also goes with if you're hunting in a group, one guy, you guys aren't in the same tree stand, but one guy says, I'm not going to shoot this deer. And then you guys can talk about it. Well, maybe we should pass this deer, blah, blah, blah. Set that before you get into the season so you're not in the stand texting your buddy, say, hey, I got this 10-pointer out in front of me. It looks like this, this, and this. I think it's this deer. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm going to shoot him or not. That's when I feel like you need to get in that kill mindset right when you see that deer. Okay, I'm going to kill this deer. Get in the mindset. Start looking for your shot. Don't be looking at him trying to decide, and then he's already past 2 shooting lanes. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill him now. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people overlook that, and I know it's personally burned me where I'm not gonna shoot this deer. I'm not gonna shoot him. And then he gets where he's looking away from me, and I'm like, should have shot that deer. They always look really good when they're looking away, but you're like, I'm not gonna shoot him. And it's a deer that I had trail cam pics of too, but in my mind, I never went. I was like, oh, that's a good buck. I never went, am I going to shoot this deer? Am I going to kill if he comes in, am I going to kill him or not? You know what I mean? So that's one way to set goals. And then also just set some goals that might not be kill related. Like, I'm going to hunt X amount of days. I'm going to hunt this area. I'm going to go to this area. I've been thinking about going this area. It's going to be one of my goals to at least put 2 hunts in this area this year. I'm going to get someone else out and hunt. Someone that I'm going to help my buddy out. Those all can be goals. Don't have to be all kill related. A lot of our goals are kill related because we already know that we're going to hunt, but we're going to hunt off the ground this year. That's a goal of ours. We've been wanting to hunt this area, and the only way you can hunt it is on the ground. It seems silly to us. A lot of people are doing it, but we set a goal that, hey, we're going to put some hunts on the ground. It's set up pretty good for ground hunting.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. We're not gonna just talk about it. We're gonna set a goal to do it.
I think now that we've been back there, seen it, committed a cam to it.
Yeah.
We're like, shit. Yeah, we got it. We got to get back here.
Yeah.
Now.
So, that's a goal for us. Is, put a couple hunts back there where we've been talking about for 2 years. I've been talking about going to this pinch that just is awesome for 2 years and never going. And back this year we went. We put in the extra work to get back there. It's like the farthest you can go on this piece. And
yeah.
Now we know it's actually a really good spot. It just doesn't look good, you know what I mean? It just didn't look good that one time I went through late season shed hunting. It looks good now, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So set realistic goals too. Don't set, I'm going to shoot a 160 and you have no 160s on your property. Unless you want to, hold out and wait for something magical to happen in the rut. My realistic goal is I'm going to shoot a deer that gets me jacked up. One of our bucks, I will be incredibly jacked up. I don't know if he'll go 115.
No, yeah, I don't think
120 maybe. You know what I mean? Like
main beam and mass, and that's it.
But we think he's 8. You know what I mean? And it just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's West Side. You guys heard that name a bunch on here. And if I shoot that deer and he's coming in, I'll be uber jacked.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna set a score or an age. If a deer gets me jacked, I'm going to shoot it. If I'm feeling it in the moment, I'm going to let it rip, and I'm not going to say, oh, I thought he was bigger, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to let it rip and be jacked, plain and simple.
I mean, what else is there to hose you about? You already get gun comments. You already get high fence comments.
I already get gun comments, high fence.
Already weathered the storm.
Yeah. I shot that smaller buck last year with a gun, and I was like, shit, man. And now, I'm super jacked up about that kill.
Yeah.
You bank on it a year. And you're like, oh man, that's badass. You know what I mean? We finally, I killed one off Boonertown finally. It was some random buck. You know what I mean? It was cool. I'm glad I did it. Now I'm not gonna do that this year. We're like, shit, shouldn't have shot this deer. I'm just gonna be like that video when I shot the 9-pointer.
Yeah.
Just absolutely like, look at this thing. You know what I mean?
Jacked as hell.
Yeah, it's like a 139. There's a 139 inch buck. I'm like, look at this giant. You know what I mean? Like, just jacked. That's a goal for mine. Is I just want to. I'm not focusing on inches. I'm not focusing on anything. I want to kill a certain couple bucks, of course, because we get emotionally attached to these deer. But I just want to be jacked a couple times this year.
Right?
You know what I mean? So Set realistic goals. I'm not saying I'm only going out there and killing Magnum or nothing. I'm not doing that this year. You know what I mean? And if he comes by, of course,
Right.
I'm gonna try to make it happen, but I'm not gonna pass on a solid buck because I'm waiting on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'll end up having more non-kill related goals than I will have kill related goals.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think everybody can do and is important to do. So, because I mean, realistically, you go out there, your first hunt in the first 10 minutes, just like Missouri. Like if that was a 180, like that was all your kill goals, like it'd have been done. It'd been done on the first hunt. I mean,
Yeah.
that ain't.
Yeah.
That's good that you did your goal. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
But now you still have 2.5 months, 3 months.
Yeah. Where's the
Yeah,
the
what's
work,
keeping
you
you
know what I
going?
mean? So
That's why I keep gaining weight and losing weight. Like
Yeah.
just never, it just can't get down to 160 and just be chill. It's like I can get a little better. So
Yep. When you get complacent with where you're at, that's when you stop growing.
Yeah,
In
for
anything.
sure.
So, plain and simple, whatever they are, set some goals. Whether they're kill related, just hunting related, hunting a new area, having those goals in the back of your mind, write them down, are going to motivate you to hunt more, do more, and when you reach a goal, it's super satisfying. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
okay, next one. Understand you may fail. This is something that I am scared to death of. I
Yeah.
just do not want to fail. You put in so much work all year. You work as hard as you possibly can. You think you're doing the right thing, and then at the end of the year, you fail. You know what I mean? You don't kill them with a bow, and you're hunting in January and last day of season in December, and you're out there freezing, and you're still hanging and hunting and moving, and you're still trying to, and then you don't kill. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And what are you gonna do? Did I leave everything out there? Probably not. I gave it a damn good try though. I gave a lot, but there's some days I probably could have went, and that's something that you just have to say. Well, I'm cool with failing. I learned a lot. I figured out some stuff, and then I don't know how many times this has happened to me. You go through a season of failing, and then you're thinking about it like this. You're thinking about this time of the year, like what can I do different to not have that happen again? And then little things come off like light bulbs, like why didn't I do that last year? Remember when I jumped those 2 bucks out of the bedding at the pub or the urban?
Yeah.
Never went back there and hunted.
I thought that's where you had the trail cam and you were hunting there.
Nope. Completely different property.
Oh.
That trail cam did not work, and I never went back there. And I have no idea why. I was thinking about that the other day. I jumped 2 solid bucks out of a bedding, late season. Okay, I know they're bedding there. It's late season. They're probably bedding there frequently on a pattern. 2 different places they can feed in an ag field. All I got to do is set up in between them. Never did it. Got so sucked into one area that I just forgot all about that. And I'm going through in my brain like the scenario of, why didn't I kill out there? And then I'm like, well, I never went back there. Dumb. But there's always something that comes up to me like that, like just like that tree we found up public. Never even been back there.
Yeah.
Never been back in that area. Scrolling through the map. Look at this. It's literally 300 yards from where we hunt. Never been there before. Might be fire over there. You know what I mean? Just 78 ground scrapes over there, and we're 300 yards away, missing all the action because we never stepped foot over there. So, preparing yourself to mess up, to fail, is good early in the year. Because for me, it motivates me not to it to happen. If you thinking about, man, this could happen, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to make sure everything possible that it don't happen. You know what I mean? But just like the last episode, you can do everything right and still not get a kill. It's just hunting. So you have to be prepared. At the end of the day, you put in more work. You shot more arrows this year. You hunted more time. You hunted X amount of new areas, and you still failed. You got to take it as I learned this, I learned that. I'm moving on. I'm going to apply that to this year, and I'm motivated to not fail this year even more because my failures last year. So, you got anything else on that? You good?
No, I mean, it's just going to be mentally taxing if you fail. Like, one thing that I've grown into these past 3 years with me just dieting and trying to work on myself and my body and stuff. And like that shit's mentally exhausting in itself. And I think it's made me a better hunter, honestly, because it's the struggle of every day just going and going and going and just seeing small improvements. Like there's just not going to be some huge improvement in your hunting game unless you just vastly scout, continuously scout. Like that might be the biggest change. But for the most part, you're just going to have small gain over time of just learning, looking back, collecting the data, and just moving forward. So it's just having that mental aspect. Don't overlook that mental aspect, especially when you add in a failure.
Yep. And then second to last is put the work in. You can talk about how you're going to do something. You can right now, early season, it's easy to say, man, I'm gonna do 6 or 7 all day sets in this known rut area, and then you wake up the third day and it's 10 degrees and you just decide not to go. So if you decide something now, you set a goal, be prepared to meet it. Be prepared to put the work in to fulfill that. For us, it's tough, man. Biking in that far and going about how we do it, that third or fourth day when you're biking in at 4 a.m, you're like literally thinking, I am the most insane person in the world right now. And then especially you go back there and then you see no deer. Like you don't even see a doe all year or all day, you know what I mean? And that just demoralizes you. But you have to wake up and be like, okay, here we go. And then we went from no deer to the best hunt of the year for buck sightings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seeing two of our target bucks, same day, 2 giants. If we would have said, you know what, we didn't see any deer back there, we're not going back there again, I'm not putting the work in to do it, would have never had an encounter with them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's early season, it's the mosquitoes are out, it's hot or whatever, and you don't want to go put the work in, you don't want to, put the sweat equity in, it's going to come back to bite you in the butt. So I don't know how many times we said it, hours in stand and work is what kills big deer for the average guy. That's not going to an outfitter. Don't have a giant property. If you listen to all our legend episodes, all the guys that we have on that are consistent, the consistency is time and stand and putting work in. There's no magic formula to how people are killing these giant deer other than they're hunting where giant deer are and they're putting work in.
Mm-hmm.
Some are more knowledgeable than others about, understanding how the deer work in the property. Their woodsmanship is better. I'm not going to lie. My woodmanship I need to step up my woodmanship. I feel like I can't go out to a property, look at it, and be like, oh, this is how the deer are moving. I got to see a little bit of action. I know there's some guys that can go out and say, I'm going to hang a tree here, stand here, all the deer are going to work right past me.
Right.
That's not me. I'm like the 6th tree. You know what I mean? I finally got it. I got it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, and I think that's kind of why me and you hunt good together is because we're not scared to admit that and bounce it off of each other. Be like, what? Like, no, that was actually a dumbass idea. Like,
yeah.
No, we should not do that. Or, hey, that was actually that we should do that.
Yeah, we should try it. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, my woodsmanship's great. I'm gonna set up, and then they're like, I know guys that are almost to the point, like local guys that they killed a deer here 3 years ago, and it was good.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not. And they set it up perfect. So they're like, okay, I had this set up perfect. I'm not moving anything. I know what I'm doing is right, but it's wrong for this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in their mind, they're not going to say that they're not right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're just going to be like, I'm just going to keep hunting this tree, and I'm going to kill something eventually. I'm going to prove everybody that this tree is the perfect tree. You know what I mean? And I know local guys like that, especially shotgun hunters around here, just hunt the same. They'll kill a nice buck like every 5 years.
Right. Yep.
I'm like, well, yeah, cool, but you could be doing that every year if you switched it up a little bit. But people love consistency. It's
love
easy.
that comfort. It's comfort.
They don't have to push themselves.
Nope.
They go to the same place.
Because, so say they killed a buck 2 years ago, and then last year they didn't kill anything. You'd be like, well, I made it through last year and I didn't kill. It was okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, But then we're just talking about a whole different breed of people, like not just gun hunters, but just breed of people that just aren't into whitetail hunting.
Yeah.
Like if you're listening to this podcast, like I mean, you're in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You want to kill. That's your goal. You want to be successful on whether it's just deer in general or big deer or whatever it is. You're at that level where you're absorbing knowledge, and you're not absorbing it from the most knowledgeable guys. I'll tell you that right now. But the second to last one is be humble. We're on social media a lot. We follow a lot of people, and it's freaking hilarious. The people that are not humble about stuff are really getting some bad karma this year. It's happening all over. A lot of people aren't killing when they go, oh, we're killing for sure. We're going in here, blah, 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 blah. It ain't happening for them. And I feel like that it's good to be confident, but you can be so confident in this area or this spot that you're going to kill for sure that in your mind you forget about all the other spots. Just like me late season. I got bucks daylighting. I'm in this new area. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm confident I'm going to get it done here. I'm super confident. I'm going to go in here, put the work in. It's going to happen. When I had bucks that I physically bumped out of a bed, I know where they're bedding on the certain wind that I never go back to because I'm so confident in this area over here. I get cocky. I'm like, oh, I got bucks daylight in just a matter of time, You know what I mean? Well, most of the time it's not a matter of time. Most of the time it's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's in your head. You get cocky. You're like, I'm going to kill here for sure. And the shit don't jive. You know what I mean? It don't come together for you. And I'll say late season, I felt really confident about me killing out there. A lot of deer. I was getting really good picks. I'd seen a shooter on private not too far from my stand. I'm like, oh, just a matter of time. You know what I mean? But you can feeling confident and feeling good about your setup is one thing, but feeling so confident that you're not going to try anything else, just try to stay humble. These deer will outsmart you all the time. You can be the best hunter in the woods and still get your ass kicked by these whitetails. You know what I mean? At least we do.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the people we know, it's happening, man. And all I can say is keep hunting, try to learn, move around, make something happen. Last one, we say it all the time, have some fun. We're whitetail hunting. This is what we live to do. We've been waiting all year to do it. Don't get down when you mess an opportunity up. Don't get down when you drop a water bottle out of the stand for the third time. Learn. Try not to do it again. And there's still another day of the season. You know what I mean? Last year we dwelled on our mess ups too much, I feel like.
Yeah.
And during our rutcation, we were pretty down for a lot of the hunts. You know what I mean? We weren't seeing deer. We were wondering what's going on. And sometimes the deer aren't moving. You know, sometimes, like your second week, you're hunting the lockdown, dude.
No, yeah,
the whole
terrible.
second week is absolutely terrible. You weren't seeing any deer moving because everything was locked down with a doe.
Mm-hmm.
You're hunting high doe population areas, so you're hunting and you're like, I'm not seeing anything. You might see a small buck every now and then, but you're not seeing those big deer because they already got a doe. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was just watching Bill Winky today. He sold his farm.
I know.
And did you watch that episode?
Yes, I did.
He said they eliminated so many does that they didn't have a lockdown phase. All right, guys around my area, start kicking up. Start shooting more does, guys. Fill your freezers. Start pumping up those numbers.
Yeah.
I don't want to experience this lockdown phase. It's
But they
brutal.
killed like 54 does or something, they said?
A year, yeah.
For 3 years
Yeah,
or
for
something.
3 or 4 years,
Jeez.
just absolutely smoked them. But then he was like, yeah, we didn't have a lockdown phase at all. Bucks just cruising all the time.
He's like, yeah, they just traveled more.
Yeah, I'm like, that
What?
sounds perfect. But
And
yeah,
then not to be like exporting bucks, but bucks were
Yeah.
coming in. I'm like, geez.
yeah. So yeah, check out Bill Winky, man. The Midwest Whitetail, it's super solid.
Yeah.
But that's it, man. That's how we're gonna have the best season ever. We are going to pick on each other. We're gonna call each other out. We're gonna eat some snacks. We're gonna have a gang up time. We're gonna bring you guys along. We're gonna try to. We're not going to release full videos, but we're going to try to do some Instagram lives, do some TikToks, do some stuff during the season to let you guys know what we're going through. The everyday normal guy battle of the lows of hunting and the shit show that we if people followed us around, no one would believe that we're going to kill a deer. It's an absolute shit show. The last time we hung cams was the first time something didn't mess up.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for it. I'm like, man, something's gonna mess up. Something's gonna break. I'm gonna fall down. Besides getting water up to my knee, other than that,
Yeah, it
was pretty solid.
I almost got water in my boot, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't. The only thing we didn't do is
Light
get a look.
cockaburs. I didn't get too crazy in them.
I got smoked before you showed up. I
Oh.
got smoked.
Oh yeah, when you were trying to find the cam.
Got smoked.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I don't think anything.
Oh, you were gonna say something before I distract
Oh.
you with the cockaboo comment. But anyways, we're gonna do it just like this podcast. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna give it everything we got, and we're gonna make sure that we're having fun. We're not gonna get down. We're gonna try to utilize all this stuff we just told you, and hopefully you guys can pick something up in here. It motivated you to get out there, and we want you guys to have the best season that you've ever had. We want every one of our listeners to meet their goals, kill a slammer, fill their freezer, shoot their target buck, whatever they got going on, and we want to hear it. So if you guys want to message us on Instagram, Facebook, let us know what your goals are. I'm calling you out. It's not only going to motivate you, it's going to motivate us. We want to know what your goals are, what you guys are trying to do. That's something me and Homie talk about. We talk about our goals as dads, or fitness or hunting. It's nice to get those out there, because then we'll be accountable for you guys. You might get a message November 2nd, and I might be like, hey, man, how's that goal going?
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you feel like it, reach out to us, give us a message, let us know what you guys are trying to do this year, and bring us along on the ride. And we're going to try to bring you guys along on the ride, because it's here. The bus is like a mile away.
Right.
We're about to hop on the season and just ride it out, and hopefully I'm in Boonertown when I get off that bus. But
Hopefully, because there
yeah.
ain't shit there
Yeah.
now.
Well, I mean, like, not our Boonertown,
Oh, okay.
just like the imaginary Boonertown.
For sure,
full of booners.
for sure.
That's where I'm hoping I'm at. I'm probably going to be the stop right before Pope and Young. I'm just going to hop out right there.
I was talking to the wife, and she said we were talking about shooting deer and whatnot, and she's like, well, we're not having another Mr. Freeze night. I said, if I kill Magnum, I said, it's going to be a Mr. Freeze night. She's like, well, I'll come get you and you'll be home by 11. I said, no. I said, you can come get me, but it ain't going to be no 11. She's like, well, I guess you'll just be staying. So kill Magnum, stay in the night.
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep with him like he's
I'll
here
get
to
my
sleep
army.
with Freeze.
Yeah, I'll get my army cot out here and just pull the buck in here and get
Yeah.
the heater going. You'll be solid. So it's gonna take us the whole night to get him out. So you're just gonna be telling, yeah, babe, I'm not gonna get home till like 6 a.m. I got to get this deer out. And it only took us like 3 hours to get the deer out, and then we're at the truck for like 9.
Yeah.
Still getting them out. It's a
Right.
long drag.
And then he said I had to stay at Cody, so that's 2 nights.
Yeah. So, but yep. I'm waiting for those messages, guys. They should be coming in any second.
Any second. Before we get off here, I just want to shout out Nick Rossman. Left us a review, and in his review, he said he's running through all the old episodes right now. So I just want to tell you, man, stop doing that. No, man, appreciate the review, and if you guys want to, go ahead and leave us a review out there.
Yeah, that helps us out. Leave us a review. We can reach some more people. They can listen to us, not know anything about whitetails, and try to entertain you guys a little bit.
Right.
Try to leave a legacy. Always do the right thing. And Whitetail Legacy is out.